Police in my whip, must be thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't make it, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. Since they started with us, cheat with a
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Rabble. It's October 7th. Everybody's mics up.
Oh, I was muted. Hey.
And I was muted too. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? Let me give us a little bit of background here. I'm Air Scott. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I'm here. Oh, who's here? Someone else said that they're here. There's Carl. Hold on, everybody's, you know how black folks do. Everybody's strolling in one after the other. Hey, what's going on, Carl?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Carl, what's up?
And I'm looking for Charles Shaw.
He said he's here.
I finally see him. You guys know how we are.
Charles wasn't the lion. He'll be on that after a while. Well, there he is.
There's Charles. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Rabble, y'all, where anything can happen. We've got two great guests coming on this evening. Julie, you want to tell them about it since you're here?
Yes, we got Commissioner and Vice Chair of the Chatham County Commission, Chester Ellis, who's the candidate for the Chatham County Chair, the chairmanship of Chatham County.
He's a Chatham County Chair candidate, Democratic candidate.
Correct. And then we have the candidate from the 7th District, Orlando Scott. So we have two great guests on the Democratic ticket that we have so we can quiz tonight. We're going to have an hour-long show with them, and then we're going to get right into our hot topics.
All right. Sounds good. Where's old Charlie Brown?
He's always late.
He's always.
And when you're late, you do not get to say anything.
You don't get to say anything. I want to bring up something real interesting. How about this voter suppression? I just got a letter in the mail today that says I'm not registered to vote, and they done sent me out a paper application.
That's bad. Yeah. Why would they take you off the roll?
I have no idea.
That's bad.
It's bad. It's bad. We're gonna bring on our guests right now, and I want to hear what they have to say about this. So first, we're gonna introduce Orlando Scott. He is. Hey, Orlando.
Hey.
How you doing, Orlando?
Welcome to the Rabble.
Thank you for having me.
You dress kind of nice for us.
Hey, I don't know what to expect when I'm on all things relevant, so I have to come prepared.
Okay, and now let's bring on the Democrat. And what district again are you? You're District 7, right?
That's correct, District 7.
Okay, you're running against
Fuller, Bloomingdale, Garden City, and West Chatham.
Okay, so you're running against Dean Kicklighter.
That is correct, Commissioner Kicklighter.
I'm muting somebody. Somebody's doing office work. Ooh, I got control this week. Y'all in trouble now. Okay, now we're going to bring on the Democratic candidate for the Chatham County Commission chairman's seat. Mr. Ellis.
Hello there. How's everyone?
How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you all.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us this week. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Good. So this is mostly, casual. Well, I don't know if we call it casual conversation. It's definitely conversation. Anything goes. I'm gonna ask you the hard questions. And they gave me controls over the show tonight, so I got some mute power.
We can yank that right back just because me and Charles out of town. We
They drop out the show.
How'd I go?
don't mute us and put it on the mainframe.
I don't know what y'all was thinking about. So I'm gonna start a new rule this week though. Anybody on the live feed whose screen goes blank, we're gonna kick you off. That mostly goes for the show co-host. So if I see that little blank head, we're doing things different this week. I'm kidding. So one of the things I want to bring up to you, especially Mr. Ellis, nobody seems to know who has purview over the Chatham County Board of Elections. I know who has purview over the Chatham County Board of Elections, and I want to know what you will do when you win. We're just going to say when you win your election, what are you going to do to make sure that that board is not the hot mess it's been for the past 5 election cycles?
The reality of the Board of Election is that they are voted in by the public. Okay, and so what the county commission does is the county commission sets their budget. They present to us a budget as to what they're going to do. And so during the budget process, we can get the Board of Elections to do those things which are proper and ensure by doing it through their budget. All right. If we don't feel like progress is being made, then we can do it through the budget. And now what has happened with this present Board of Election is that after the June primary, and the June primary was a mess. We asked them before they came back before us, we asked them to give us their solutions to what created the problem. And we understood that it was a lack of training. And we said to them, okay, we know that COVID has changed things, so you all have to make adjustments. So they went back and when I say it that way, I'm talking about who comes before us is the chairman, Mahoney, as well as the chief operator of the Board of Election, who the Board of Election hired. All right, that's Russ Bridges, and they had to present us with plans to how we were going to handle this general election. One of the problems I had, and I brought it up as we discussed with them, they were looking at the numbers from 2016, and they were planning for having ready in place enough staff for 60%. And I said to them, I've always been taught that it's better to have and not need than to need and not have, which is what we had in the primary. So I told them that they needed to work from 100% of all the registered voters, which was like about 190,000 in Chatham County who are registered to vote, have that ready in case everybody came to do their voting. And now they also have to comply with rules from the Secretary of State. Okay, so the Secretary of State, you had to apply for an absentee ballot. And one young lady I spoke to today, she filled out her request for an absentee ballot, but rather than getting an absentee ballot, which I got mine on last week, Friday, at my house, but she got 3 more applications in the mail.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, every time she looked, so I said this to her: call the Board of Elections and call the Board of Registers. In case the Board of Election tells you that's a register's problem, in case the register tells you that's a Board of Election problem, call both of them and make sure of where your application is and make sure that they have received your application. Okay. And one young lady that I spoke to today, she got her absentee ballot, but she has changed her mind. And she is going to go vote, doing early voting beginning next Monday. So I said to her, make sure you take that absentee ballot with you. If you don't, they won't let you vote. All right. So as I said to her, you have to turn in that absentee ballot before they will allow you to to in-person ballot. So we have to make sure that people know that they have to cover that. If the dog gets your absentee ballot, take it all bit up and all chew up and whatever it is, but take it in anyway so that you will have proof. Because if you don't show proof, then suppression is going to grow because they will be knocking folks off. And so anyone who has gotten more than one application, all right? Now, there were some folks who were mailing out applications so that people would have them, all right? But you have to make sure that you get that into the Secretary of State. I took mine by hand and delivered mine to the Board of Registers.
Okay.
And last Friday, I got my absentee ballot.
I have a question. A lot of counties, they have the Board of Elections and then they have the Board of Registers all into one. Why do we have ours separated? Is there a way we can consolidate that into one thing, or do they have to be separate?
That's a voting decision made by the community itself. All right. We decided, and when I say we weren't taking a part of all the voting, but that comes out of the 67, 68, where 8 decided to have a Board of Elections and a Board of Registers. Okay. In other counties, they have one board to take care of everything. Yeah. We decided. So the only way that we can get rid of it is to petition the county commissioners to put it in a referendum form and have us vote whether we want to have the one or have the two. It's got to be changed by according to the ordinances and stuff. It's got to be changed by the people of Chatham County.
Okay, so you just need to have a.
I need to ask this question. So the state don't have to play into this at all?
No, it's to set up the foundation for how we're going to vote is up to every community, every county. So you can choose whether you want to have the one or have the two, but it has to go through a referendum in order for it to get done. And what we have to do is you have to apply to the county commission to put it on the ballot, to put it up for vote. Yes.
So that's easy. That seems like that's easier enough to do. What do you think about having? So I was at the Capitol earlier this year, and I actually was at the press conference for the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. One of the biggest issues we're finding is that the community feels like they have no form of redress when we have overt malfeasance like we've had at the Chatham County Commission. How do you feel about installing, an ethics or an oversight board? I'm always very critical of the city per se and their ethics review board, which is a sham, because you can't have the elected officials choosing who goes on the ethics oversight committee. How do you feel about installing something like that for the Chatham County Commission that will also provide a form of redress to report voter suppression like we have now? Because what I see, and I'll be quite honest, Commissioner Ellis, I have not seen anything but great things out of you. But past leadership, everybody's doing this. It's not us, it's them. It's them. We can't do it. We got to, like, there's a tidal wave of excuses and buck passing from one level of government to the next. How are you going to shut that down? Are you going to attempt to shut all that down and put in some institutions and boards in place so that we do have real oversight, and oversight that actually carries teeth? All these fake sanctions that the city council did with Tony Thomas and all these public rebukes and all of that, excuse my language, sir, you are an elder. All of that's just bullshit. So when are we going to get somebody focused on that type of policy? That's my question.
Here's where it starts.
Gee.
It starts with what's in our charters and what ordinances and what resolutions we need to evaporate and get rid of and start again, okay? Because what was good for us in the 70s is not good for us now, okay? And what we have not done is that we have not change the policies that are written. Therefore, we have to start in two offices, the Secretary of State office and also the Attorney General's office. All right? Because a lot of things you think that we can do is not lawful to do. So therefore, if we get what the law is and we get what the ordinance is or what the resolution is, we write the proposal. Now, I'm all for protesting and demonstration, but after protesting and demonstrations, we've got to write policies. We're living on policies. Like, for instance, I'm gonna give you for instance that I know of. The CAT board in Chatham Area Transit was established in 1984. I'm sorry, 1986. They have not changed a whole lot of things since 1986. And it's old, obsolete, and it doesn't do anybody any good. So what we need to do is we need to pull out those policies. So I say to everybody, including myself, who want to protest, let's protest, but let's also get the policy and rewrite the policy. Because a lot of times you're talking to a Secretary of State, you're talking to the governor, you're talking to the Attorney General, and they say, okay, you don't like it, but what you want to do? And we don't have nothing written that we want to change it to. You see what I'm saying? So what we need to do is we need to write it. And when they say, well, okay, this has been working, what you want to change it to? We ought to be able to give it to them.
Okay.
And say, this will work better.
Commissioner Ellis?
Sure.
One thing that I noticed is that every time that we have a problem with any voting irregularities, there isn't any local elected officials leading the way to help us with the protests, because the last commission led by Al Scott, nobody ever did anything to stand up and say, and that's y'all job. I think I need a pledge out of you and Orlando that that's what you all will do if there's any voting irregularities, to step out front. We don't need y'all in the back. We elected all y'all to be out front, and we need a pledge from you all to say that you all are going to be out front with us.
All right. Here's what I need for
Make
you
it
to
short
know.
for me, please.
All right. Here's what I need for you to know along those same lines. The Board of Registers and the Board of Elections, all right, are voted in. Once they're voted in, they hire their staff. The only control that the county commissioners have is the budget. From the budget is the people, all right? So when you get staff who work for the Board of Registers, if there are complaints, you need to write those complaints and give it to the chairman of the Board of Election. He has control over the folks in the Board of Elections. A lot of folks complain, but people don't write down their complaint. So that when it's evaluation time, all right? Okay. When it's evaluation time, what you get is you get a folder that's empty. So as
real quick, I mean, it stopped you from right there. Right. But do we need to have a note paper passed to you guys? Well, to the chairman, if we really do know the problems and everybody knows when there's meetings about the problems and there's news conferences about the problems and all kind of things, do we have to have a note to him for real?
I'm for real. Let me tell you why. There is such thing called ethics. All right. And as soon as you are elected a county commission, you go to ethics class. And there are 4 ethics class that we go to. In that ethics class, if there is no paper trail, you've got a problem. All right. Because what will happen is whomever.
What about witnesses? What about witnesses?
Even if you got witnesses, you got to have a paper trail.
Let me interject real quick. I think I understand what Charles is trying to say, Chester. Basically, here we go again with well, y'all didn't tell us what to do. What's the point in electing leaders if the people have to give you guys every single solitary policy idea? Correct. Then what are we voting you guys in for? To be a vacant soul and wait for us to feed you what we want, and then what? The highest bidder gets their wishes heard and not us? I mean, if these are common issues, you're on the show, you're hearing it from us, and now you're telling us, well, you need to write it down. No, I don't accept that. You got to have the vision, the will, and the testicular fortitude to say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done for
It's
the
over.
people. Otherwise, we need y'all to get out the way if y'all waiting for us to come up with everything. The protests are obvious. So how do we, and I want to hear from Orlando in just a second, just so you know what you're in for. The age of elected leaders holding these seats, waiting for the people to meet condition 1, 2, 3, 4, write it down, record it, send it, mail it, stamp it, show up, send another letter, call this person, write it down, say it again, say it louder, say it to them, waitlist policy. Somebody's got to be able to order all this in their head who's in those seats and just champion. You're black. You know what's going on in Chatham County. Why we gotta tell y'all? We don't want puppets. We want visionaries. We want soldiers up there because
Can,
the
can
years
we
of
do this? Can we do this? Can we do this?
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, can we do this?
Yeah.
You don't have to trust me. Listen, can we go with Mr. Scott first? Tell us who you is a little bit, because I don't know you. Hello, how you doing? I'm Charlie Brown. We'll let you start. Take about 2 to 3 minutes. Tell us about what you're trying to, you're running in the 7, because people don't really know you. And we want to know who you are. Okay? Then Chester, you can go after him, take 2 or 3 minutes, and just rehash exactly. And some of those points that she discussed a few minutes ago, you can bring that in. Mr. Scott, we can go with you first. Go ahead. Tell us who you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown, and thank you to the entire panel for having me again. So I am Orlando Scott. I'm running for Chatham County Commissioner in District 7, which sits in Pooler, Bloomingdale, parts of Garden City, and West Channel Unincorporated. Originally from Savannah, born and raised here, all my schooling, graduate of Savannah State University with a business degree. Active member in Overcome by Faith Church, men's ministry leader. I hold several positions there. And professionally, I'm a retail district manager. I cover 15 stores in Metro Savannah and Low Country, South Carolina. So I have a tremendous amount of experience, over 20 years of multi-unit experience. And I'm running because the conversation you just had, Alicia, around the voting irregularities and everything that went on in June, I'm getting a little bit of it now, a little taste of it now here in Pooler.
Orlando, something's going on with your audio and your video is lagging a little bit. I don't know if there's something covering your mic. We can just barely hear you.
I'm sorry. Is that better? I don't know. Is that better?
That's a little bit better. I don't know. Something's your picture was fine, but now you're kind of freezing and starting and freezing and starting. But go ahead.
So, and you touched on the voting issues that we had in June. I'm dealing with a little bit of it now here in Pooler, where the mayor, the county manager, and the county attorney took it upon themselves to say, hey, these voting absentee ballot machines that the legal women voters are giving us, we don't want them. And for no apparent reason other than, well, the original reason was they didn't want liability. And then they changed it later to we don't have cameras at the polling places where we vote. So which caused me to go into a little tip with the mayor, which honestly, during the campaign, that does me no good. And I probably lost a few votes last week. But to your point, you're absolutely correct. The county commissioners and the commissioner that I'm running against that currently sits in District 7 hasn't said anything, hasn't said anything about what I believe is a failed attempt to suppress the vote. And, Alicia, there was a song back in the day, you probably remember, Here I Go Again by Glenn Jones. And it's the same song with Cooler. In 2018, I believe you were in that election. We had 4-hour waiting lines.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Not good.
It was ridiculous. The county manager is moving polls away from City Hall for no reason at all. And now they're suppressing the vote with these ballot boxes. And you have to speak truth to power. You have to call out these leaders, no matter what the consequence is. And it upset me. Those aren't even my voters. Those aren't even my constituents yet. But the current sitting commissioner hasn't said anything. So I felt a need. So you're absolutely right. And I'll let Commissioner Ellis finish his point.
Thank you.
Because he was making a lot of valid points also.
Thank you. We want you to be a moderator next time. I like the way you handle that. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Chester.
And I don't know what's going on with your sound, Orlando.
I'll try to fix it.
You're getting further and further away from us.
Oh, but we heard that part.
We heard that part. Yeah.
Go ahead, Chester.
Okay, go ahead, Chester.
All right. What I'm trying to get you to do is I'm trying to get you to stop running up against a brick wall. Okay. Here's what I mean by that. All the members of the Board of Election are elected except the chairman. The people of Chatham County select the Board of Election. All right. Once they select the Board of Election, and right now is 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats, those 4 get together and select a chairman. All right. The commissioners have no control over that whatsoever because that is a constitutional issue. Those 4 people become constitutional officers. It's just like me as the chairman or either as a commissioner. I cannot go out to the jail and tell the sheriff what to do because he was elected by the people. All right. I can't go in the DA office and tell them what to do because they were elected by the people. The only people who can tell them what to do are the people themselves and the governor. So, in order for us to straighten out what is wrong, what I try to do, and those of you who know me, I hold town hall meetings in charrettes to bring people up on what the law is so that you can apply the law. The last, just before COVID hit, the last group of people that I had a town hall meeting with were the folks out in the in the Highlands area that I met with to talk about what election was going to look like and who's in charge of what. Once those people are in place, there's nothing the commissioners can do except fund their budget. All right. So now, if we're going to change that, remember what I said before, it starts in the Secretary of State's office and the Attorney General office. We have to rewrite the policy so that we can apply policy to problem.
Got you.
I got it. So, okay, so we've got the chairman. Is there so why doesn't the commission come out and speak against what's going on? Because you are our representatives. Why does no elected official ever come out and speak out against what's going on? It's like we sit there complicit, knowing that all these things are going on. The second thing I have a question about is, can we put in term limits for the Board of Elections people? Because we keep getting the same people that year after year after year after year, and then that Thomas Mahoney he resigned, then he came back, then he got back on, and then you've got, Antoine Lane. He was,
The problem with that, you don't need term limit. The term limit will be the people who vote them in don't have to vote them in. They can vote for someone else. Someone have to step up to the plate and run. You can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. If they don't run, the same people going to continue to run. And what he is saying, if y'all are not getting it, I get it. If you're going to be in the politics, you got to know how it's played. It's like the school board representative can't go and tell the principals and stuff what to do. They have to go through Ann Levette to say we got a problem at certain schools. The commissioners can't just go and do certain things. He said he can't go to the jail and do certain things. You want
but
these
this
guys
is
charges.
but
That's what
this
they'll
is
be
a,
on.
but this is a different issue. The commissioners fund and set the budget for the Board of Elections. There's something they can do. They're not just completely powerless, Charlie Brown.
For everyone.
You don't be defending our lackluster legacy.
They set the budget for everyone, babe. They set the budget for everyone. That don't mean they can go and do certain things.
May I calm the song?
Let's give Carl Murray, he's got his finger up. He's got something to add.
Thank you. Just the fact of being over the budget, that has a lot of influence. I mean, it's elementary. So we can't just say that there's nothing we can do. I mean, it's simple. If you handle the purse strings, I'm not saying you totally defund the Board of Elections, but yet still you handle the budget, so that commission has some type of control. And I don't know all of the working parts or how it works, but it's just simple to me. If you have if you manage the monies, then you have some power, you have some control.
Go ahead.
Another thing, I just want to add one more thing. Now, far as the Board of Elections, those members are elected by the public, and there are always 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. They represent the people of Chatham County. Now, when they appoint a chair, and Mr. Ellis, correct me if I'm wrong. If there's a deadlock, then the county commission is tasked to break the deadlock and appoint a chair of that Board of Elections. That's
a correct assessment. If they're deadlocked, then the county commission will come, and it will come to the county commissioners to get a chair. All right, but you got to remember now, this Board of Election was not deadlocked. They were 3-1. Yeah.
No,
okay.
I understand that. I'm just trying to lay it out there that, in fact, the county commission has some type of influence over that Board of Election, and again, that's laid out. I'm just making it out. I'm putting it out, but I also want to say, really, to say that you need a paper trail to show that Board of Election is inapt, that's a cop out, in my opinion, simply because it's all over everywhere. The news. If that's not a paper trail enough for you, then I don't know.
I want to add this one
so I'm gonna leave it like that.
But let me answer him before you ask. All right. It can be all over the news, but do you know who the only person that has the power to remove an elected official from their office? The governor. That's all. Now listen. Understood. When the Board of Elections, when the sheriff, when the DA all come to us and present a budget, and we have had this to happen in Chatham County. If that budget they feel is not adequate, you know who they go to? They go to the courts, to the judges. And then the judges determine whether we have to put in what they requested or they can do with what we gave them. All right. The last time that happened to the county commission was with the sheriff Al St. Lawrence, who took them to court. All right. He said he needed 60 cars. They said you can do with 30 cars. And so he took them to court. You know what happened? The county commissioners had to find the extra money to buy those other 30 cars. The same thing happens with the Board of Election. When they come to us and present a budget, their budget is about carrying on the election in the election year, hiring the staff that carries on that. That's constitutional. Once they do that and present that to us, all right, our job is to look at the budget and see if there are fatty areas that we can cut in, and if we are constitutionally sound with cutting their budget, we can do that. If they decide to take us to court, then we in the ruling of the judge. Okay, so when you say, and I'm gonna give you, for instance, just this past election, when the mess up happened during the primaries, we sent a request to the Board of Elections and to the Board of Registers, and we had them to come before the Chatham County Commission. Every commissioner on that dais stated what the problems were in their precincts and in their district, and we asked them what was their fix for it, and we had them to give us fixes that were within the, and we gave them an extra $120,000 to carry on this November election, because we knew, and I'm gonna tell you what I said. All right, I stand up for Chester, and everybody know who knows me. I said to them, don't plan for 60%, plan for 100%. And then if you don't need them, you can cut back. But there's no need to need folks and then don't have folks who are ready. And so when we look at what it would take to carry on this November election, we gave them extra funds to hire extra people so that it can be better off. We even had our lawyers to write to the school board, because during the primary, the school board cut out some polling places that was more conducive to that area than where we wound up. We wound up at Georgetown at a fire station. And if you remember, that fire station kept having electrical problems, because rather than having one machine, you now had three. Okay. So those are the kinds of things that the commissioners can do, have done, and will do. But when you're talking about the problems that exist, the people who do the electing of these constitutional officers have to stand up and get rid of folks who will not do.
Why aren't we fixing these problems before election day? Why aren't we checking the electrical to make sure that the place that we're putting all these machines at can hold the capacity that they're sending out? Why are we waiting for the actual election day to say, oh, sorry, too many machines at this one location, when they could have been tested out easily days before, weeks before?
But because it was just 6 days before the primary, that some of the places that were originally scheduled to be the voting place was changed. And when they changed, they did not have adequate electrical outlets. And everybody thinks that you can plug as many plugs into power surge protector as you can, but those machines started blowing out the power. Okay. There were a whole lot of problems that were underneath that folks didn't get to know about.
That's just Kia's point, that if they would have went out earlier and they would have known the equipment that was needed.
Yeah.
So it's incompetence there. So somebody.
It's just pure incompetence. Yeah.
And it's just, they got an unfavorable notice that says that they couldn't use certain places, and that's what I mean by we had our lawyer to give them the law as to those places that were canceled out. They cannot cancel out those places that were in those polling places. All right. So right now, as it stands, you are absolutely correct. There should be testing going on to make sure that we've made some adjustments. All right. They've given you some new voting places for this upcoming election. It's their responsibility right now to make sure that those electrical outlets and things started. But 2 places were changed the night before the election. One happened out in Georgetown, that they went to the fire station the day before. All right. And that's where you had the biggest blackout problem in the county.
The fact of the matter is, like I stated earlier, the Chatham County Commission does have some type of influence over that board of election. And like how you stated the different scenarios, I understand all of that, but throwing money at the board of elections is not going to fix the problem in Chatham County with all of the incompetence. It's clearly a matter of leadership. It's a matter of leadership. And that if that chair of that board of election don't have any influence, then why is he there? I mean, if he's not leading, why is he in that position?
And if we don't have someone in a position to file a report with GBI to come down and do an independent investigation, I mean, I can remember, asking other elected leaders, why don't you just call the GBI and file a report? Because the general public, we're not allowed to call the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Only seated elected officials over a governing body are. We're not allowed to call the board of, the GBI. But it seems like nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to tell on anybody. We just want to keep pointing to policy that also nobody seems to be putting on their legislative agendas. If we have a constitutional problem or a county charter problem, you can always send a letter to the delegation to get your county charter and the municipal charter amended. Like, that's a piece of policy. You and I think you're right on it, Mr. Ellis. Policy is what's killing us, but we've got to get creative and not just look at everything in black and white. If there's a governing charter for the county's ordinances, how do we get that amended? You start by writing a letter to your delegation. You start by adding that to your legislative agenda. We want to review our county charter and these constitutional / ministerial positions. And I'm going to give you an example of one of the positions that one of these elected seats.
We only have 15 minutes left in this segment.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hush up.
We need to ask them some questions pertaining to the.
Go ahead. Mute myself.
No, you go ahead. Charlie, you had something for Mr. Scott?
No, I'm okay. Oh, you talking about Charles? Go ahead, Charles. I'm okay. I yield the floor. Errol Scott done took up my time. I'm fine.
No, I'm done. You got time? Ask your question. You left the meeting.
I'm just gonna make a statement. I hope that I don't know if I care if anyone feels attacked tonight. I just feel like we get really tired of seeing these things happen. I've only been here 3 years, and the elections and voting here is kind of silly and ridiculous. And we've heard the same things 3 or 4 times already. So we're asking for change. We're asking for a status quo. We're asking for policy changes. We're asking for like, we want to see what it's like. So that's what we're asking for.
One of the things I'd like to make a comment on what you just said. You probably got a point, but I think we in Chatham County, which is 7 cities, including Vernonburg, to make 8, we live on soundbite. You got to go in and do the research. Notice Ms. Errol was talking about a lot of stuff. I'm saying, I don't know exactly how it works, and we want to put leaders in, but they can only do certain things. And I want to ask her this question: why, if a voter sees something going on wrong, why can't they call a GBI and report it and have them to look into it? I mean, what's going to stop?
The GBI is not an office for use for the general public. The GBI is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and it is the investigative unit of the state that only seated elected officials over a governing municipality or province or county or school board. It's only for elected officials to use.
I
So a
got you. So if
DA,
me as a citizen, if I see something going on, I
you
can't
can.
report it at all to them. I have to get with an elected official and let them know, and they can report it. Okay,
Yes.
see, that's information I wasn't aware of. And Julius, were you aware of that? I wasn't.
Uh, no, not
I
to that
wasn't.
extent.
I guess most of the people who are tuning in the podcast tonight did not know that either. I want to thank you for sharing that. Because Charlie Brown like to say, people fail for two reasons: lack of information and lack of knowledge. And I appreciate that, but I will fact check you on that. I guarantee you. I just want to
Please.
let you know everything. You don't just tell me what you think that's right. I will fact check you. If you're right, next week I'll come back and let you know you was completely right.
Let
Well,
me,
I need something more than just acknowledgement now, Charlie.
all right, Miss Scott,
Okay.
can I
I'll send you a
interject this?
a Christmas present.
Can I interject this in you and Charlie's conversation?
Yes.
Go ahead, Pastor.
Let me give you all the quickest way to get something done by the GBI as far as elections are concerned. In this state of Georgia, based upon the law, the person who is responsible for elections in all 159 counties is the Secretary of State.
Oh.
So what you can do as a body, you take, for instance, this body that's right here, right now. What you can do is file complaints with the Secretary of State, asking him to have the GBI investigate. But you have to make sure that you have detailed information about the allegations that you're making. All right. The Secretary of State can then say to the GBI, here's what we need to investigate. Here are the witnesses you need to talk to. We would like for you to have a report. That's the quickest way when you're talking about elections.
Yeah, but she was saying just sort of exactly.
Right.
But
Right.
you give
But that's
us
the quickest way. You
you
go
give
to the
us a
person
better
who is
But we can
responsible.
also do the same with our county officials, because counties are in charge. The Board of Election is a county organ. Why
Elected by
can't
the
we
people.
say this to you guys, and you guys do a resolution and send up to the Secretary of State on behalf of the overwhelming outcry of the people of Chatham County? See, again, we're it's what young Charles Shaw was saying, and I feel the millennials. I
He's
feel
not
the
that
millennials.
young.
He's young.
Not that young.
He's
Young
a
Charles.
millennial.
Maybe he
He's
come from
that young.
Canada or something. Young Charles Shaw.
What was he
What
saying?
you were trying to say? Go ahead and give her a response.
What I'm saying
What you drinking tonight? Moonshine?
I'm just saying, Chester Ellis, commissioner, you just laid out the process we elect y'all to take. Because the Secretary of State will take a resolution from county commissioners. He'll take that far more serious than me, Charlie, Julius, and Carl.
So do we have a commitment from them?
Orlando, we're going to let you talk, buddy. You got your thing straightened up so you can talk a little bit when we ask you a few questions before we get off the subject.
Charlie,
go ahead, Chester. Respond to that.
Hold on. Do we have a commitment from Mr. Scott and Commissioner Ellis that they will be doing some advocacy if there are any voting irregularities? You got to come and stand with the people at some point and tell us that you are with us and y'all come help me fight this.
I'll let Mr. Scott answer first.
Absolutely.
Since I've been doing a lot of the talking.
You sound like a true politician to me. Don't hand me that.
And when I see you, I'm going to throw a mud pie at you for saying that too.
Go ahead. Mr. Scott, go ahead.
Absolutely. Hopefully you can hear me. I think.
Yeah, it's breaking up real bad. You don't know Sang language, do you? You can do it on sign language. It's a joke, sir. I don't know what's wrong.
Yes.
Oh, but I see y'all show back.
But yes, you have my commitment on that.
I can't understand him.
Okay.
Jew.
Well, we'll get Mr. Scott back on when he can clear up his
Justin, now you can answer.
issues.
All right, let me say now, all of you who know me, all right, I have not changed.
All of us don't know you.
I have not changed from the Chester Ellis that you know. You know, if there's an issue that affects the community, that I have been in the fight. All right, whether good, bad, or ugly, I have been in the fight. And taken from one of my mentors that like John Lewis, you know I can create good trouble. All right. So here's what I say to you. My responsibility, especially as chair of the Chatham County Commission, is to make sure that the voters of Chatham County know the ABCs of the situation and how you get to the solution. All right. Whether I have to do that in charrette form, whether I have to do that in Zoom form, or whether I have to do that in town hall meetings. All right. Whether we need to do that over a conference call, I will be accessible and I will bring you to the point where you can get it done. Where the law stops the commission from doing certain things with the Board of Elections, I will instruct you on how to get those things done as a community. But now it starts again, and we are right in the middle of the season where the starting starts at. Who you're voting for in the office that you're voting them in, all right? When the Board of Elections come up again, we have to make sure that competent people run for those positions so that we can get the right folks in there who will carry forth the agenda. All of us know, we are dealing with laws that were written in 67, 68, and 69. And until we get to those laws and change those policies, all we're doing is running into a brick wall. And I'm telling you, from the county commission standpoint, we get to the point where our attorney tells us, listen, that's an issue that you have to turn over. You cannot deal with that. The laws does not allow you. And the laws keep us from doing a whole lot of things that the commission have studied. Now, there are 3 areas, and let me say one of the areas that I'm going to name, all right, is about the elections and what we can and cannot do with the Board of Elections. There are 3 areas in which county commissioners cannot talk about: negotiations, legislation, and personnel. When you're at those 3, we are bound by the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia, and also the Charter of Chatham County, to keep your mouth closed.
Thank you,
cannot
Chester.
even let that leak out.
Thank you, Chester. Appreciate it. You in charge, Ms. Scott? What's next?
I'm just trying to see if Orlando, can we hear you, Orlando? You want to make a statement before we move on to our next segment?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we're only seeing every 5-second moves. But that's fine. It's like stop animation. Go ahead.
Oh. So I'll be brief since I'm having technical difficulties. I think everyone made a lot of great valid points, but I think it comes down to a couple of things: influence and relationship. And Commissioner Ellis is absolutely right on a lot of things he was saying. But at the end of the day, we have to go in, to the Bridges of the world, and we have to call them out on a lot of what you've called I believe, is incompetence of our of the board down there. So I totally agree with everything, but we have to do a better job cross-functionally reaching out in calling out these issues. You know, with the election board, we can talk about staffing, we can talk about new machines, we can talk about the incompetency around the preparation for the general election, the primary. But at the end of the day, that gentleman needs to be held accountable, and whether it's done from the county commission seat, from the state, or wherever, we have to lead that charge there.
Can you just tell us, before we let you get away, and you can stay and listen up, tell us how, if someone want to help you, a contact number, so they can send you a check, because campaigns cost money. You got about 25 or 26 days left. Give them that information, please.
So thank you, Mr. Brown. The easiest way to do that is go to my website, vote for FOR, orlandoscott.com, hit the donate button. There's a PayPal link, and any contribution, no amount is too small, would be greatly appreciated. You can also like me on Facebook, vote Orlando Scott for District 7, and keep up with everything we're doing for the next 3 to 4 weeks. I'm excited. We're looking real good as we come to the close of this election cycle. And I'm encouraged that I'll be the next commissioner for District 7 of seating a 20-year incumbent. So thank you again.
Thank you, Orlando. And Mr. Commissioner Ellis, how can voters, what's your campaign website? How can they support you?
It is my name, Chester, the number 4, Chatham.com. That's Chester4Chatham.com. It's Chester, the number 4, Chatham.com. There it is. It's on the screen right now. And when you go there, it will allow you to donate any amount. And there are 4 different ways that you can, whether you use PayPal or whether you use ActBlue, or if you use your credit cards of any kind, your debit card, you can always do that.
Thank you, Chester. We appreciate you 100%. You got the best name, Chester for Chatham. I like that, Chester.
Thank you for being for holding your grace under fire in the hot seat. We appreciate you.
And I don't think that you all want to stay on for the second half, because we're going to have some hot topics that you might not want to ethically be involved in, because we're going to let it all loose. So to be safe, I think that you all don't need to be on this next on the end part of the show. You're muted.
Well, thank you,
Mr. Scott. If you need some help with anything, just contact Julius Hall, ATR. He's the one. That's
all right.
Likewise.
And let me say this before I go from you. And I have been, I am, and I will be always trying to get rid of voter suppression. All right.
Okay.
And I just want you to know, because I saw it strip across the screen, whether we will commit to that. So I have been doing it, I am doing it, and I will be doing it. And thank you for inviting me. And I enjoyed myself, and I don't mind sitting on the hot seat.
One other thing, Chester, tell them to come by your office where it's located so they can pick those signs up, those yard signs. You got plenty of them out there. They need to come and get them.
Yes, sir. And they leaving here tomorrow, but I'm located at 513 East Oglethorpe. That's at the corner of Oglethorpe and Price. All right. My manager and things normally get here around about noon, and we stay to whatever time of night it is to stay. And so if you want to drop by and get a sign, or even if you want to write a check and bring it by here, they're here to accept it. All right. What I do is I ask not to bring cash, because I don't want no hanky-panky and no manky-manky. I want to stay above the border.
Soft money. That's soft money. And you don't want
Charlie
to get
Brown was
involved
going to chime
with
in
soft money.
talking about hanky-panky.
That's soft money. I want to thank you two guys. Appreciate it. Y'all guys take care.
All
We're
right.
gonna take
See
30
y'all later.
seconds, y'all. We'll be right back.
All right, and Charlotte, Julius, your
Thank you.
I see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like this. Police in my whip, must be thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't make it, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. Since they started with us cheap,
All right, we're back. That's just a 30-second interlude, you guys.
30
All right.
seconds. Man.
Huh?
Well, you're
Okay.
not going to be in charge again. I'll see to that. I promise. I don't appreciate you cutting me off. And Julius, I know we still got views. I think you pulled a plug on me. I had to go find Mrs. Brown to come
No, I
fix
didn't.
Nobody.
the computer.
I did
Well,
not
you
pull
was
the
not,
plug.
because I think
Yeah,
you're
you're
drinking
doing a great
moonshine
job.
tonight or
I
something
did
like
not
that.
pull the plug on you, Charlie. No, I didn't.
Okay.
Nobody put the
I'm
plug.
in
You
Atlanta.
guys are having you got to remember people are gearing up for the debate. So everybody's watching all the pre-debate shows. And
Right.
so everybody's broadband is strained. Like
Got you.
Right. And
to the max.
Charlie, the only person that'll pull a plug on you is Charles, and Charles and I are in Atlanta. He's upstairs, I'm downstairs, so we wouldn't have no feedback.
Julius, please don't call him just Charles. Young Charles. Oh, I almost puke.
Thank you, Charlie Brown. Utmost respect, sir.
Okay, we're gonna get on to our hot topics of the night.
Go ahead and get on the
First
hot
hot-
topic.
Charlie, I don't know whether you can. I think we need to get a donation and give Mr. Brown a hearing aid, because I was talking and he's still talking over me.
I'm not talking now, but I am now.
But anyway, we're gonna get on to our hot topics of how hot Wednesday topics, and our first topic up is the school board vote today to reopen the schools to phase 3 or something that they voted on, and we had two of the school board reps abstain. By them abstaining, they automatically gave the votes to the 4 people who wanted to have the school system open back up. They're, by endangering all these kids to the coronavirus. Hell, they just saw that Trump caught it up in Washington, D.C. at the White House. They don't think it can go into school. So y'all tell me what y'all think about it.
I want to know who the 2 school board members that abstained were.
They were Irene Hines and Connie Hall.
So you mean the okay. I love my Black women and my Black elders. I'm not gonna say nothing bad, but let's be real. I'm gonna assume Julius Hall, there's no relation.
No.
You don't go get me in trouble for saying something bad about your auntie.
The only Hall on there probably voted no. The Hall voted no. Believe
the
that.
real Hall voted no. Okay.
The Howard Hall voted no.
Listen, you guys remember Connie Hall came up on Dave Simon's ethics charge. She any elected official probably who was put in place by Dave Simon is bound to the allegiance to the people that control things from the shadows. So you'll see these elected leaders abstaining from important votes, buck passing, things like that. I'll never forget Connie Hall's name came up as Dave delivering these checks to her. That was the biggest election scandal and a peek behind the curtain of corrupt Chatham County politics that nobody seemed to care about. Like, there were 300 pages of stuff he did, and then that thing just poof vanished into midair. Judges, school board leaders, elected leaders, private companies, payoffs, checks. So whenever I hear Tiny Hall's name come up, I commend her for fighting for minority participation in the school board contracts. They do a great job there. She is a bulldog when it comes to that. But there's no, there's another agenda at play. I didn't see that vote. I can't believe that those two people abstained. How did the vote go? Did it pass?
Yeah, it passed to open the schools back up on October the 26th.
Are they like completely open them back up, or is it like a couple of days?
Hybrid type of learning, but still, you got more kids that'll be going to school now. They're going into phase 3. And that means that there's going to be a strain, I believe, on the teachers, because those teachers are mostly under contract. I don't know what the vote was, but I bet you one thing, Tanya Howard Hall voted no, and I wasn't even there. I haven't even talked to her all day. So I know she is adamant about not sending those kids back into those schools yet.
I have no comment.
Oh, you got no.
Really?
So Gabrielle Nelson says, stop age shaming. I don't age shame. What I do is I try to respect those who came before me. But I also know that once I get a certain age, I need to start grooming the generation behind me to take over these seats. And so, if you missed the show where we talked about Democrats literally dying in office and leaving us messed up, we gotta fix that. So if you 80 years old and you on your last leg of life, what you doing holding office? We need to bandhead you. We skipped over a whole generation.
I would like to say this. I think that gentleman you mentioned was passing out checks. He passed out checks not only to the school board, he passed out checks around the city to other elected officials as well. And the reason I can't talk too much, I just say no comment, is because for the fact that they should have took a stand either way. The abstaining is not good enough. Yeah, and that's why there's no comment.
Yeah, when you abstain,
yeah or no,
you already know that it's a tight vote, and when you abstain, then you know that tells you that the other side will automatically win. So you might as well not have even showed up, because the other side will win every time when you abstain from a vote.
You need to stand up. That's why I had no comment, but I did say that.
Yeah, well, that's bad.
So was this meeting virtual? A meeting to have the kids go back to school? Was the meeting virtual? Why they send the kids back to the crossfire?
Oh, were they in person?
Yeah, were they in person or were they meeting virtually to decide what the kids
they met in person. I went home. We in Atlanta, so I went home.
So I know that first meeting they was virtual. I'm like, how y'all virtual? But y'all talking about sending them back?
Oh, they're back. You know what? They've been back here. I've watched the school board meetings. Okay. They're back, and they got these plexiglass dividers in between them up on the dais.
They're not going to have that in the school classrooms now.
They should designate them an office.
Private schools have the plexiglass up.
We talking about 39,000 students, and I'm assuming they're trying to put plexiglass up between them in all the different classes. I don't think that part going to happen.
They're not going to do that.
No.
Only thing I see they're spending money on is Wednesdays is going to be deep cleaning. So
they might require you to wear masks in the classroom, probably. That's what they're going to probably do. It's easier.
They go back
are they going to are they invoking any rules to bring kids back that don't want to show up? Is there a rule that's going to be applied to the kids that don't go back?
I think they're going to have options, right, Julius?
Yeah.
They're going to have hybrid, right? They're going to have option.
Yeah, you can either go on Mondays and Tuesdays,
Yeah,
or
Tuesdays
Thursdays and
and Saturdays.
Fridays, and then you can either go virtually only, which is a parent choice.
I repeated the third grade, so I have problems sometimes.
You know what? I'm done with Charlie Brown.
It's
Carl,
not
you got a
no,
view on that?
you just don't know,
So-
Charlie.
How
Does
many
Carl have a
people?
view on this?
Here's a good question. How many people on the school board were educators, were teachers, and or have children currently in the school district? Do you know that offhand, Julius?
Connie Hall was, Tanya Hall was, and
Irene
Deion
Hines.
Hoskins. Oh, and Irene Hines. Deion Hoskins taught on the college level. I don't think she taught on the high school level, on the school level.
Okay. I'm just curious about it. The school board is one of those things that it's a very powerful governing body. It has the power to change the economic viability of an entire region, and a lot of people don't pay attention to that. A lot of people don't understand the power within the school board's hands at every level. We sort of stop once our kids get grown. We sort of just stop caring about the school board. So thank you to your wife and the other retired educators who did decide
I just want to say something. I don't know how when you always see wars or pandemics and stuff, you're supposed to protect the women and the children and the elderly, but yet this is like the exact opposite of doing that. You're not protecting children, you're not protecting their grandmothers, and you're not protecting anyone else right now anyway. So how could this be important right now?
Are you implying that only women are teachers?
No, I said when you
help me with the war analogy. You lost me.
I said when you.
He's more so talking in terms of like the kids. Yeah. They're throwing the kids out there, and those should be the first ones we protect. It's the kids.
Yeah, you're supposed to protect the women,
lives and all that right? Good stuff.
And it's not a comment. It's just a theory that in war and pandemics, etc., you protect the vulnerable. And in this situation, they're not. And the kids at schools, you're then going to ask them to be well behaved. Do all the PPE stuff. I mean, this is really a lot that you're asking.
So let me take you on a journey. Who sets the school board agenda for what they're gonna vote on?
That's the school board president and the superintendent.
Okay, so school board president is Joe Buck, and I'm not making any inferences here. But what's the percentage of African American in children in Chatham County School District?
That's a question I don't know.
So the school district is about 65 to 75% Black. Now that should answer your question, Charles. Okay. You're talking about protecting the children. If we were a majority white school district, it would be all about protecting the kids. Only majority Black.
Go back to class too, though, so that's kind of maybe not.
There you go. Here's someone more than 50% Black. This is a pattern that I have been following and watching all across the South. In the majority Black districts, somehow there's a white school board president and or a white superintendent, and this is why the Black Lives Matter movement is taking place. If we were figure out what's going on over there in Bryan County. Somebody go take a look at what the Bryan County School District is doing and see if those kids in Richmond Hill are going back as soon as Chatham. That'll tell you all you need to know. I'm just saying it's out there, research it. School board politics has not been my lane, so I have not been following it at the grassroots micro level, but take a peek over in Bryan County and some of these whiter, like Gwinnett County up near Atlanta. See what they're doing. How much you want to bet they're keeping them babies home for as long as they can? Now, there's a lot of other things that come into play with that, but I'm just going to leave that there. so we can
Well,
move on to our
there,
next topic.
there is one other thing. They went on the pastors went on the school board porch the other day, and they had a protest telling them that they should not vote for the students to go back to school yet. And so one of the pastors in it was Pastor Sills from Connors Temple. And he made a statement today also. He came out and told the school board that if you're going to send them back to school, then you also do their funeral.
Well, you say that.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you send them back to school, you do their funeral. So, he was hot. He was real bad. So that's the last thing I have on that. What's the next topic?
Next topic is Mayor Van Johnson's views on the protest and gun issue in front of City Hall. What was I heard about this shit show.
Trump
me with this
tweeted
man.
that today.
Yeah. They said, it's really tough to deal with. It's really tough to deal with. I'm gonna let you guys process this one for a minute.
Well, I have no comment.
You having a whole lot of no comments today, Mr. Brown.
What you no comment on?
Oh, about Van Johnson and protesting and the guns. There are no comment. Do I need to repeat myself?
Oh, are you a Van? You must be a Van fan.
Ma'am, it's my time. They don't call you air for nothing, because you just blow out a lot of air. You just calm down, ma'am. I have no comment.
I bet you do have a position on it though.
And he sat back until he's done with it. Let me see. I got a few thoughts about it. Van Johnson's doing what he always does. He comes by and plays mediator. He plays the right and the left, the both sides game. He does it just like Trump does. It's no difference. He knows what he's doing. He's great at it. It's very irritating. He won't take any stances for the black community, not one. But he will take stances for other communities. We've seen it. We've seen him stand on podiums with flags and booklets and stuff like that in shirts. But we won't see him stand up for.
He's standing up on podiums with flags.
Now, Van Johnson said he was gonna literally, come to the table, be at the table. But we started realizing that he's not having any conversation at his table. He's still at the kiddie table. The big boys are handling the business, and they're still throwing him scraps. So we need to figure out what Van Johnson's all about and what's really happening with Van Johnson. Because
I got a question. What kind of flags that he's flying? You mean the United States flag?
I thought you didn't have an opinion.
It's a colorful flag.
Oh! I'm sorry. I got you. I apologize. Okay.
He stands up. Wait a minute. He stands up on podiums with flags.
But he won't stand up for us at all. Yeah. Every single time he won't stand up for us. It's
he stands up for a flag
because it's time after time after time after time. He has these very, very meek responses to anything. He's very slick. It's very confident. So we'll see what happens.
He's very silky. You said he's silky. What you say he was?
He's very meek on black issues. Very. he's not silky at all. No.
I heard something there. Listen, I love it. I don't want to be the only one going in on these people. Tell us more, Charles. What else is going on?
It's like we know what it is here in Savannah, so we just kind of grit our teeth and get through it every single time. But it's like really living in an oppressed land. Savannah is one of the most oppressed places you probably could have imagined to deal with. I've experienced things that I would never have imagined before. And people tell me, "Hey Charles, slow down," or "Hey Charles, listen, take the time. It's progress is slow or something." But no, what's happened in Savannah is they slowed time, took the watches, put Van in front of us, and said everything's fine. It's crazy.
Wow.
They stopped our watch, put Van in front of us, and said, "Hey, everything's fine here. Van is gonna smile at you guys, do his press conference, and tell you it's all okay, and we're gonna keep doing all the
bad part is
we've been doing to you guys, and we're gonna love it."
The bad part is
stop talking about our mayor. He brought who was the gospel singer at the inauguration?
It was beautiful.
Donnie McClurkin.
Hathaway, right? Hathaway, guys. It was beautiful. It was a great day.
Yeah.
It was a delay or something. I'm out
It was
of
a
town.
beautiful ceremony. I enjoyed myself. They put on a great show.
Donnie McClurk and they did.
Yeah.
Am I muted or am I on delay or
You're
something?
not.
No, you're here.
Let me
Oh,
mute
okay.
her.
Are you gonna answer that question now, Paul?
Julius.
I didn't think y'all could hear me. Well, what happened was, and I made several statements this week about that situation. Um, the guy, he could have drove around the kids that were laying in the street, and he started to drive around them, but then he wanted to act Trumpodian, and he wanted to throw a little smoke bomb out. So he threw a smoke bomb out on the kids, and the kids didn't know what it was, so they got up and started kicking the car. So then he get out the car and draw a gun on them, and so I guess they say they arrested him and charged him with assault. But Van comes on the air the next day and says that he thinks that the kids were wrong and that they should be arrested also. Yeah, y'all didn't see that?
Yeah.
What? Let me find that.
That's the same thing Trump said, though. Same thing Trump said.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he said. He said that the kids had no right laying in the street protesting.
So peaceful protesters deserve to be threatened by your big black truck. And then when they get up and play with your big black truck with their bikes and stuff, you want to pull a gun on them. And he threw a canvas on them, like tear gas or something. What was that?
And then he found out in their truck, like that was planned. He knew
He was ready for the day.
Who was driving around with that in their truck?
I'm gonna have to do more research on it. I'm gonna call Murray and I'm gonna say, I'm serious. I'm gonna have to do more research because I wasn't aware of it.
He blamed
I was
the
out
kids?
of town. I was out of
Listen,
town for a couple of days.
I'm trying to pull it up now. We're
Okay.
gonna look at this. I'm trying to pull it up now.
And then Trump, he retweeted, and the caption was "Lawless thugs attacking man's truck meet." A short story.
Lawless thugs.
Where was that at?
It's very classic.
On Twitter, he retweeted it today or yesterday.
On Van's Twitter?
Trump, he retweeted it.
On Trump's Twitter. And he was in Savannah making comments.
Yep.
And then the bad thing was that then in the next breath, y'all heard what y'all mayor said. Let's pray.
If you think about it like this, if people are going to be pulling guns in Savannah because the mayor is making it okay to find reason to pull your guns out on people, you're asking for incidents. You're asking for them. And then they're going to be given leeway as to when you should shoot somebody. Oh, no, he was aggressive. He had on a Black Lives Matter shirt. It was scary to me. It's going to happen. It's coming. It's literally he's signing
I got something here. You guys ready? I got something here. Let's see if we can share this. I didn't, I saw something, but I didn't know that.
I didn't know nothing about this.
Is it coming up?
When did this happen, Judy? What day it happened on?
Sunday, right?
Okay, I'm going to play this now.
Hey, mute background music, please.
Hang on, let me do it again. Give me 1 second.
Man, you
got to click
equipment.
Share the audio.
You got good equipment. Our equipment can't do that.
That protest ended with the man throwing an object at people laying in the middle of Bay Street. The video shows the protesters responding, hitting the man's truck, and then it shows the driver getting out of the truck and waving a gun at those protesters. Today, Mayor Van Johnson condemned the actions of 34-year-old Frederick James, who was driving that truck. He has been arrested, but he also says the protesters were reckless.
Lying in the middle of Bay Street is not the way to prove your point. Lying in the middle of Bay Street is the way to get hurt.
It's called peaceful protest, right?
Mayor Johnson said
maybe they need a permit to protest.
Lord, we can't lay in the street. We can't kneel. We can't be quiet.
Well, there you have it, folks. Did you hear that?
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Mayor Johnson is a great mayor for Savannah, Georgia. He's an awesome black mayor for this town. He's the best black mayor they could have picked. Mwah. Beautiful stuff. It's perfect. Mwah. Good stuff.
So the point of a protest is civil disobedience, right? Civil disobedience means, disturbing civil functions. Disturbing okay, someone just sent me the actual his actual statement. And I'll read that in just a second, but serving civil disobedience and protests are in place for a reason.
In a Democratic run town.
In a Democratic run city, there should have been some police presence out there protecting and making sure things didn't go awry. That should tell you a lot. Listen, I always say this: it doesn't matter what your elected leaders and your politicians say; it's what they do. Their actions speak much louder than words. But civil disobedience should not be condemned. It shouldn't be condemned like that. When you start suppressing people's right to free speech and have dissent against elected leaders, you start turning into an authoritarian and totalitarian regime. And that's not okay. Here's what someone sent me, a clip of the actual statement. He said, Saturday afternoon, I was advised of a demonstration occurring downtown, which our public safety professionals were unaware of. Apparently, these young people chose to lay down in the middle of Bay Street. Bay Street is also US 80, which is a major east-west corridor in Savannah. This roadway is heavily traveled, particularly by large trucks. Yet these young people were recklessly laying in the westbound lane in front of City Hall. I mean, listen, in the age of Trump, where your voice and your demonstrations don't matter.
Who sent you that?
Who sent me that?
Yeah.
Don't give up your sources.
Because I asked that because we didn't need to hear that because we already heard about the horses.
It's just rough. It was a great statement. It was done well by Van Johnson. He's good at this game.
He could have said that the Christmas bunny was melting. We didn't care what he said in a statement. We heard it out his mouth.
I know we heard it. Yeah, somebody said, I thought maybe it was something different, but yeah. Listen, so what y'all gonna do about him? That's your mayor. Listen, so Charles said
did he suggest some appropriate places to protest where we could be safe from trucks and canisters and guns?
What is the point of a protest if you're not like blocking? Listen, the protesters blocked the whole freeway back home in LA. They just shut the whole freeway down. They put a float up there with the flatbed and had a band playing. People marching, shut the whole 110 freeway down.
That's a very small inconvenience to have. I mean, I'm just thinking about it. That even if it was Bay Street, even if it was like noon or 4 o'clock or 5, even if it was like high traffic time, a protest where there was clearly room to get around. The horse was getting around just fine. The car he was getting around just fine until he got to the point he was going to play with them and get really close to them. He played the game with them. They hit him with their bikes. He antagonized them. So once you antagonize people, once you antagonize them, he was hoping to antagonize them. He threw the canister at him. He got really close to him. And he had his gun in his lap ready to go. He came out really empowered because now he has a mayor supporting his causes. So what are we going to do next time? Another protest? More people show up and say, hey, our mayor supports this kind of reckless behavior. Let's all grab guns this time.
But Charles, he's still in jail now, right? I mean, he's in jail, right? Yeah,
I doubt it.
Yeah, he's in jail. She said something about
the mayor should have said his name and how reckless he was, but he won't do that.
She said something about I see what you're saying. That point, he's putting it on the protesters to a degree. She said something about L.A. You talking about Lower Alabama? Or what are you talking about at?
I'm talking about Los Angeles.
Okay, we have to say. You say L.A.
Nobody thinks
Alabama.
nobody knows L.A. is Lower Alabama.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah, a lot
Brown.
of people does that.
No, nobody
Lower
does.
Alabama. What?
Nobody
Anyway,
knows that. That's
Charlie.
an acronym in your mind that only you and the
Lower
people in your head.
Oh
Alabama.
no, ma'am. A lot of people know about that. I'm sorry.
Nobody know no
Yeah.
Lower Alabama.
My cousin Willie does. Hey, talk about my cousin if you want him.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
But-
Brenda Dunham says we should invite the mayor on the show, and I think Terry Mobley said earlier, has the mayor been invited? Listen, I'm just here trying not to get fired. I'm just one of the Indians. That's for the chief.
He could have he can come on this show anytime he wants to come. Anytime he wants to come, he has an open invitation to come, and we'll hear what he got to say. But it won't be easy for him because we have a lot of questions, and I don't think that he can stand the pressure because this
I don't
mayor,
think he'd accept.
for some reason, he gets in his feelings real bad. In the next breath, he said, "What? What was the next thing he said out of his mouth after that? After he said that stupid mess was, let's pray for the president and Melania." No, damn well Trump don't have no coronavirus. What you gonna pray for? That's a wasted prayer. You're wasting your breath. This man is a trickster. All he does is trick people.
He's a slick, silky trickster.
Julius, you know I like you, but buddy, you still pray for your enemies, if that's what you're gonna call him. I'm
No,
just
we ain't paying for it.
I'm just trying to you still pray for your enemy.
They have no love for you, Charlie Brown. Why do you give love back?
They don't care.
have no
They
love
don't
for you,
care.
Charlie Brown.
The prayer don't have to be a great prayer. It can be a short prayer. Like
Well,
she
you need
said,
to
L.A. And don't want to give me no credit for Lower Alabama.
There's
Did you pray?
It's a state of my mind.
anything to God. So if you saved your prayer for Trump, he wouldn't be mad at you.
Well, here's what we need to do. One of the elders in Savannah told me, he's not an elder, a friend of mine in Savannah told me that his elders told him that when Eugene Talmadge, remember that old we don't remember the racist governor, but that racist governor Eugene Talmadge, he won a third term, and they said a huge prayer vigil went across the South, praying. All the black churches got together, hold a huge night of prayer vigil, praying for God to rid them of Eugene Talmadge. He dropped dead 7 days before he could take his office in the third term. So is that the kind of prayer you talk about, Charlie Brown?
I have no comment.
I saw a sign that said only God and Donald Trump can save us on the highway coming into Savannah the other day. It literally said only God and Donald Trump can save us. That's what we're up against.
If you guys hold a prayer vigil,
they're locked in. They're locked in. It's only them.
You hold a prayer vigil to rid us of all the bootlicking trustees, double talking, backbiting, double talking, double-minded, soothsaying, tricksters, slicksters, jokesters, hucksters, and scammers who are in elected office. If you hold a prayer vigil to rid us of them, I will be there. I will even go dust off one of my Bibles, show back up, and rededicate my life to Christ. Well, I will. You hold a prayer vigil to rid us of some people. I'm tired of praying for them to be healthy. That's the problem. Y'all done prayed them up so much they're gonna live forever and keep us in chains.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Boom, shaka, amen.
He didn't say pray for him to be
Charlie
well.
Brown, what are you up to with that phone, man? What's going on?
I was imitating Donald Trump going across in the front of the church.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna pray for atonement. How about that? Make them atone for their sins. I'm gonna pray that God shines a light on all their iniquities for the world to see.
But
I understand why people tell us to pray for Trump. It's a very noble, very, very black thing to do, to pray for everything and everybody. And we haven't gotten any sort of Yeah, if we got anything from them, we've been oppressed. We need to pray for like a lifting of the foot off our neck, more or less. But
There
more,
you go.
I wouldn't.
Pray
Say,
for us.
I'm not afraid to say that either. I'm not praying for Trump. I'm not thinking about him too much.
Yeah, they got a whole lot more to pray for than Trump. You got 210,000 people dead from the coronavirus, what he could have prevented, most of them. You got the Central Park Five. Did you pray for the Central Park Five? Trump said give them the death penalty. Are you praying for them? That's why I get all these pastors wanting to get on the showboat and talking about pray for Trump. Oh, you wasting breath and you wasting energy. That's why nobody in your church these days now, because you want to do all the wrong things instead of the right thing. You got enough sick and sinful parishioners to pray for than to be praying for Trump. Trump don't need no prayer. He got enough fools praying for him already.
And just remember, I might be wrong, but I doubt it.
I might
There
be
you
wrong,
go.
but I
Listen,
doubt it.
they done. Well, we ain't gonna get on religion. We can go on to the next topic.
Mr. Brown, you don't have anything to say on that topic. I noticed you're just as quiet back there. But I have to say, your hair looked real good tonight. I want to compliment you.
Thank you.
Certainly. I wish I could say the same about someone else, so I just keep it to myself. Go ahead. What's next?
I'm dumping you, Charlie Brown.
I've been dumped a long time ago, man. Trust me. Carl, would you like to charm in?
No, we cutting off at 10 till. What was the last subject? I think it was one more.
We got one more. We supposed to talk about the debate, which we got about 23 more minutes to talk about the debate tonight at 9:00. I am certain that this will be much better than I don't know if anything could get better than that last debate. That was a mess. I don't think Pence is human, you guys.
It's
You ever look at him?
Tough time for Pence. It's going to be a tough time for him. I think Kamala is going to study. I think Pence is going to try to deny everything Trump has done and really fall on his face. He's not going to lie like Trump would. He's going to just kind of back away from questions and not lie about them. So it's going to be really tough for him.
And Eric, we only have 18 minutes because we're going to get off 5 minutes till give everybody time to prepare for the debate.
Okay. So here's a question from Melinda.
I might get off a little bit early because, I'm not home, Julia.
You're just like black folks. You come late and leave early.
Ma'am, just a second, because he puts you in charge. This is an A and B conversation. You see your way out of it, okay? Your name might be Errol Scott, and you sure got a lot of hot air like Julia, but I was talking to Julia. I was talking to Julius, all right? Not you. It does matter, ma'am.
This is a professional show.
Gray-headed one, not you.
This is a professional show.
You need to stop drinking moonshine.
The mainframe will mute somebody in a minute.
He's been muted.
It's all good.
He's still mad. You're gonna lean back in that chair. So look at here, he come again.
See that?
What's that? You be okay. Who's standing down from that? Was you doing a mail review or was that a threat?
Miss Scott, I didn't ask you to leave me alone. I'm gonna say that and then I'm leaving. Julius,
yes,
you
sir.
know I'm fit to come now, right? The grass always look greener on the other side. By any chance you decide to move, be sure you can pay the water bill, Miss Scott. Bye-bye. Y'all have a great night. And the viewers, thank you.
We need you to show up.
Same place.
We need you to show up on time. One show, Charlie Brown.
For you, young lady and young child, it's Mr. Brown. Okay.
Thank you.
Good night. You can cut me off. I'm going.
We're gonna leave you on here. I'm gonna leave your thing in the feed so people can see the empty head and Charlie Brown.
Whoa. I heard something about empty head. I know you wasn't making. Oh no, you didn't. Miss Brown, Connie, you can cut it off now before I lose my temper. I'm trying to maintain.
Okay,
Miss
so
Brown, it's good to see you. You take care of yourself, Miss Scott. You know what you need to do is to make sure. Carl Murray, why you putting that thumb up? Because I'm leaving. Okay, I got nothing to say. Miss Brown, I want you to look out for me, all right? If they say anything about me, you defend me in my absence. And young Charles, you get younger each time I see you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
It's always a pleasure to see you. Y'all have a good night. The views, please stay tuned next week. We got information.
We're not
When
leaving,
people
Charlie.
fail, they fail for two reasons. They fail for lack of information and lack of knowledge. And remember, the mind is like a parachute. It only works when it opens. Keep what you need and let the rest go. Good night.
Good
Peace,
night,
Charlie
Mr. Brown. Are you gonna? Are you? Look at. He gonna stay. He gonna stay.
It took him 5 minutes to get off the damn call. Okay.
That would have been a great exit if it would have closed on time.
Yeah, so listen, we had a serious question, y'all. They really think that this is a show where we're gonna offer some real serious insight. So let's pretend like we are. Here we go. Here's a serious question. What do you think will be implemented since the Pentagon has been infiltrated by COVID-19? What do y'all? What do I don't think that they're going to do anything. I think it was a hoax. I don't believe nothing Trump says. He is, Trump is like the neighborhood trick. He'll fix your car for a 6-pack of beer. So
the next thing Trump is going to do is he's going to blame everybody being sick at the White House that somebody did that. It was a Democratic. It was what's the group he always talking about? Anon, not.
QAnon. No, yeah. Now those are his biggest followers. Listen, those people they think all Democrats, they think Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, who's fidgeting with something? Somebody typing or fidgeting.
That's his headphones every week, Mr. Zamuri, your headphones.
Oh, I got him. You can unmute yourself, Carl, when you're ready to talk. But we ain't heard from you, but I don't think that they're going to implement anything. Carl been struggling with technical difficulties. He's a pathological lying clown. He's a lot of things. He's not presidential. Wasn't this the fastest case of COVID-19 and recovery in the history of COVID? Like, he had it on like Thursday and was like,
3 days later,
he caught it and recovered before most people are supposed to don't even have it. He caught it and recovered within 4 days, so most people get it and don't know for 7 days. So it's kind of weird, but he's
not supposed to come out because he might infect somebody else because it's still in his body.
He probably got the best COVID we could get. He got the best COVID. Of course.
he got the elite version of COVID.
The best
I think he did it as a way to like make us not be afraid of like, hey, I survived it. Y'all go outside too. That's the only reason he did it.
Yeah. He's a 12-year-old, and that's how they think. He thinks like a 12-year-old. Like, you guys, I'm gonna play like I have it, and they won't even worry about it. It's silly. It's really silly. And he might actually think he's becoming a champion to his people, and they're gonna line up in droves to vote for him because he survived the COVID he got.
Aren't they like selling something on his website, like some or something for $100?
God, that Teflon Don shirts, maybe, I don't know.
Teflon. Trump followers have become like occult members. Like, they are straight up Jim Jones. With QAnon thinking that Democrats are drinking baby's blood so that we can combat wrinkles, and they think Don is on some mission to rid the world of child sex traffickers. These people are going crazy. Let me tell you what these people are doing. These QAnon Trump followers, these people are watching arrest warrants on, molestation and pedophilia, local arrest warrants, and they are attacking people with the same name, and they're not even like the people who they're about. So someone I know that lives in Savannah, her husband got his Facebook profile shared because it matched the name of some random person who was arrested. It was like John Smith. They just found any John Smith in Savannah, shared his profile in one of those QAnon groups, and proceeded to harass the man incessantly to where his job had to send him home. He has had to file all sorts of lawsuits just to keep. I mean, they're driving by, they're harassing him mercilessly. They're messing with his credit. They're messing with his mail, all because John Smith in the Chatham County area was arrested last Tuesday for child molestation. And it said what the charge was. They found this random John Smith guy and just did a digital lynch mob on him. That's happening everywhere. Like, that is happening everywhere, and people's lives are being destroyed because of these QAnon people. So you look up QAnon. It started right after his election, and they've got this. It's whenever you see people talking about Pizzagate, they decided that a pizza place in Washington, D.C. that everybody goes and takes their kids to, because it's called Comet Ping Pong, and they serve pizza. There's a whole video talking about that place has a basement torture chamber where Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton were calling up and ordering children and going to the basement torturing kids.
And they did it because Donald Trump told them to do it.
They did. And they've got, listen, these people believe John F. Kennedy Jr. is still alive and that was supposed to be Trump's October surprise.
What? The October surprise was COVID, though.
No, it was Trump getting COVID.
It was Trump getting COVID. But yeah, these people are really waiting for Trump to make some big announcement that he has busted the global ring of baby traffickers and blood drinkers. It's the craziest thing. So what do I think they're going to do to implement, now that it's hit the White House? Nothing.
They say they're propping Trump up on steroids real heavy to keep him upright. Who knows if that's true or not, but they say he's pumped full of steroids to be upright. But he'll come crashing down if it goes.
Steroids will crash your organs. It ain't good for you.
Well, then we should pray for that.
Yeah. Whatever they're giving him, keep giving him. They ain't giving him
I don't know.
Bottle of water.
I say some sort of prayer for him just now. I couldn't think of nothing. I couldn't think of nothing. I was trying to find something I could say that was kind of fair to that man. I couldn't think of nothing.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot, but yeah. So we're at the 11. It's at 8:49. If we want to sign off a little bit early tonight, so y'all can get your internet situation settled. I think we had a good show. What y'all think?
Awesome, and that's good. We could get off and don't forget, people, share. Watch the rest of our shows the rest of the week. We got Jay Jones coming up tomorrow. We got Eric Scott at 9:00 on Friday. We got Candid Combos with Shalana Cook Jones at 7 on Friday. We got Incarceration to Incorporation at 6:00 on Friday. Saturday we got Jay Jones with Pep Talk. And Sunday we got Yusuf Shabazz with the Freedom's Journal, and at 6 and at 7 we got the Voices in the Struggle with Anthony Maven. Then you come right back on Monday. You got Candidly Keisha with Keisha Gibson Carter, and on Tuesday you got 6:00. You got Healthy Natural as a Fuck with Ferrante Frazier. 10 o'clock that morning, that's at 6 o'clock. At 10 o'clock that morning, you have our vulnerable communities with Natavia Sanders. And at 7 o'clock, you got the bold, the brash, Alicia Miller Blakely with For Us, By Us at 7. So y'all make sure you tune into these shows. We have about 5, 6 more shows coming in the next 2 weeks, all on this platform. Make sure you tell your friends. All Things Relevant Media. Tune in to All Things Relevant Media. This is where we're at. This is where we'll be.
All right. All right. I don't want to cut nobody off. You ain't got to go home, but you got to leave here.
I see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like this. Police in my whip, must be thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't big you, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better not let me get rich.